Mark time. Coats. Halt. Present. Halt. Port. Halt.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, colleagues, and friends, you may be seated. Good morning, and thank you for gathering here today. It's a pleasure and an honor to host this celebration to mark the signing of preliminary memorandum of terms for CHIPS funding. This milestone is a pivotal step towards establishing advanced semiconductor packaging and test capabilities in the United States. Our ceremony today will feature remarks from several distinguished partners who have provided invaluable support and guidance throughout our manufacturing journey. Following the speeches, we will have formal photographs and additional refreshments. Our first speaker serves as the National Security Council's Deputy Chief of Staff and CHIPS Implementation Coordinator. His background includes extensive experience in foreign policy and national security. Please welcome to the podium, Ryan Harper.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
How are you? It's a fantastic day to be here. We've had this date circled on our calendar at the White House for some time. Thanks to MCOR for having us. Thanks to the governor for having us again, Representative Stanton, both of the senators, and many others involved in this day. Your partnership has been fantastic. Today is a great day to celebrate this partnership and investment, but also it's almost the 2-year anniversary of the CHIPS and Science Act. And so it's worth taking a moment before we get into what makes today great, a little where we came from to remind everyone. 2 years ago, we were still in the midst of a pandemic. The entire country had become aware of the importance of semiconductors in an acute way. You saw goods shortages, you saw supply chain constraints. Suddenly people couldn't get the cars and toys and appliances that they needed. Our families, communities, military was worried about access to chips, and everyone became aware that decades of policies that had led to the offshoring of advanced manufacturing and semiconductor manufacturing was having a real impact on this country's resiliency and the day-to-day lives of Americans. My colleague and boss, Lael Brainerd, the National Economic Council Director, points to the fact that a third of the inflation experienced during that time was due to chip shortage. So this was having real impact on people's day-to-day lives. President Biden and Vice President Harris came into office determined to change that, and they worked on a bipartisan basis to pass the CHIPS and Science Act. It was an effort that was unique in its focus and scale, and turned to Secretary Raimondo and the Department of Commerce to implement the bulk of that. And so where are we 2 years in? The turnaround we've seen since that time, thanks to companies like Amcor, is remarkable. Almost $400 billion of investment has been catalyzed in the nation's semiconductor industry, including over $100 billion here in Arizona, which is an astounding number. Create over 115,000 new jobs. And importantly, it's building out the full semiconductor supply chain, not just leading edge fab manufacturers, but facilities like the one Amcor is doing today, which I would guess a few years ago, advanced packaging is not something that would have rolled off everyone's tongue, and now it's become something that's mentioned on almost every investor call and prospectus around whether America can compete in things like artificial intelligence. Today's investment of a $400 million partnership to support a $2 billion project with Amcor is one of the signature announcements of the CHIPS Act, and I want to emphasize that. This is one that really is a unique one for this program and for the capabilities it will bring to the United States, which have been hard to find. And so I really want to thank the Amcor employees and all of those here that are contributing to that and the work to come. Advanced packaging is the next frontier of chip innovation, allows us to continually improve the performance and power of a chip, and will help support an end-to-end ecosystem in this country, supporting things like autonomous vehicles, cell phones, defense and weapon systems, which is my background working in, and particularly large-scale data centers to enable artificial intelligence and the leadership in industries of the future that we require. The last thing it will do is create good jobs and expand the opportunities here in Arizona. And whenever the president talks about this bill and his Invest in America agenda, American workers and American communities are at the core of his focus. And so it's important to him and to us to make sure these result in good family-sustaining jobs like Amcor delivers. And so we're very excited about the impact this will have and the opportunity it will create in this community. With that, I would just want to say there is work to come, and we at the White House stand ready to help deliver on that and make sure the federal government deploys all the resources available that are needed to help you all build this on time, on schedule, to create these jobs, to deliver on the promise. We've stood up an institution called the Workforce Hub to help create some of the partnerships that you all have started to with local communities and universities and labor stakeholders. And more broadly, we are just proud to be partnering with you and support the revival of U.S. semiconductor manufacturing, and we're committed to do that going forward. So with that, I want to turn it over to my wonderful colleague from the Department of Commerce, Linnell, and just thank you for having us and congratulations.
Thanks, Ryan. Now, see, I needed this one. It was designed for me. Anyway, hi, everyone. I want to start first with a special thank you to HEAL and the Amcor team and everyone hosting us today that made this day possible. On behalf of the Department of Commerce and Secretary Raimondo, I want to thank Governor Hobbs, Senator Kelly, Congressman Stanton, and Mayors Beck and Mayor Woods, Chris Camacho of GPEC for their support of CHIPS for America. You know, the state of Arizona is playing a very crucial and leading role in revitalizing the U.S. semiconductor ecosystem. And your leadership has been invaluable as we implement this bipartisan CHIPS and Science Act. The entire CHIPS for America team is incredibly grateful for your partnership as we implement this historic piece of legislation and a key part of President Biden and Vice President Harris's Investing in America agenda. I'm so excited to join you here as we celebrate, as Ryan said, on Friday, the 2-year anniversary of the CHIPS Act, but also as we celebrate CHIPS for America's proposed investment with Amcor to provide up to $400 million in proposed direct funding to support the company's $2 billion investment in a greenfield project in Peoria. Once completed, the state of Arizona will be home to the largest outsourced advanced packaging facility here in the United States. The leading edge chips that will be packaged right here at Amcor are foundational to the technology that will define the economic and national security for decades to come. They will further position the United States to out-innovate, out-build, and out-compete the rest of the world as we enhance our supply chain resilience, all the while creating thousands of good-paying jobs right here in Arizona. Secretary Raimondo laid out the 4 main pillars of the Chips for America to achieve by 2030, and that included establishing the United States as a global leader in advanced packaging. So Heel and I were comparing notes on our careers and kind of went in parallel actually from the 80s through the 90s and beyond, but I was here at Motorola Semiconductor right at the On Semi site. He was in Nijmegen, and believe me, our paths got very close, but we never got to meet. So it's fascinating to meet you now here. What we know for sure, and it's really simple, is that investments in the semiconductor manufacturing will not succeed without investments in advanced packaging, plain and simple. And with this proposed investment in Amcor, we're putting the tools in place to accelerate the innovation and advance U.S. technological leadership in semiconductor manufacturing. Under the leadership of President Biden, Vice President Harris, and Secretary Raimondo, the United States is unlocking a new chapter in American technological leadership through this proposed investment in companies like Amcor. So I want to close with a final thank you once again to the Amcor team gathered here today. Secretary Raimondo and I are thrilled with the work that you are undertaking to drive innovation, and at the cutting edge, we are deeply grateful for your leadership and determination in your mission to strengthen U.S. economic and national security while developing the most advanced technology in the world. So thank you, everyone. And with that, I'm glad to and honored to introduce Arizona Governor Katie Hobbs.
Well, good morning, everyone. It is a great day for Arizona, and I'm so happy to be here with all of you and happy to welcome you to Arizona, the official semiconductor hub of the United States. Yeah. And I say that because investments in the microelectronics sector have totaled more than $100 billion since 2021. Major industry leaders like TSMC and Intel have announced historic expansions. We are going to host the next SemiCon West after 50 years in San Francisco. And today's announcement here with Amcor just further solidifies that status. And it is federal investments from the Biden-Harris administration that have made this momentum possible, and today we are keeping that momentum going. Amcor's roots here in the Phoenix area date back to 1984 and have continued to deepen and strengthen. In 2005, their headquarters were moved here to Arizona, and their presence has continued to grow through intentional innovation, meaningful and strategic partnerships, and significant investment. Their growth has helped build Arizona's reputation as a major player in advanced manufacturing and has created thousands of good-paying jobs for Arizonans in the process. Companies like Amcor expanding here is no accident. It is due to our dynamic and vibrant economy, our work investing and strengthening the pipeline of skilled workers, and our proven ability to lead this industry into the future. We are so proud of this partnership and look forward to continuing to watch it grow. Today, we are celebrating the next chapter in this long-standing partnership. As you heard, this historic $2 billion investment will create more good-paying jobs for Arizonans. It will strengthen national security and independence, contribute to our already booming economy, and keep our entire country moving forward. What will happen at the 500,000 square foot facility has a greater impact on our everyday lives than most people realize. Apple will be its first and largest customer, and they'll be making critical components for smartphones and other devices that we rely on every single day. The testing facility will also enhance communication tools that drive critical industries like healthcare and defense, and work with the automotive industry to help make cars safer. From top to bottom, Arizona will continue to be a true partner, working to keep this momentum going and making sure that Arizonans are at the center of it all. Congratulations to everyone. Thank you so much to our partners at the U.S. Department of Commerce and the CHIPS office, CEO Rutan and the entire Amcor team, the Arizona Commerce Authority, and of course our partners in Congress and the Senate for everything they've done to champion the CHIPS and Science Act and these historic investments that are delivering for Arizonans every day. And with that, it's my pleasure to bring up Congressman Greg Stanton, who I know has been a huge force in getting these investments to Arizona and delivering for Arizonans every day. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Governor. Thank you for your leadership. This is happening in large part because of the great work you and your team are doing. Good morning, everyone. Congratulations to the Amcor team on today's announcement and what you will do for the company and for the state of Arizona. What a great day for Arizona. What a great day for our neighbors in Peoria. Mayor Woods, what a great day for Tempe. This company is headquartered in your city, and for the entire East Valley. In this community, Amcor has been an integral part of our tech ecosystem for almost 20 years. You ain't new to this town, but you're growing, so that is awesome. Tomorrow marks 2 years since the passage of the CHIPS and Science Act was signed by President Biden, a once-in-a-generation strategic investment that is making this $400 million investment possible. 2 years ago, we saw the opportunity and the strategic imperative to preserve our global economic competitiveness, to show the world that the United States will continue to compete and win on the international stage, particularly in this most critical industry. Not only at that time were we over-reliant on chips made on the other side of the globe, it was an existential threat to America's national security. So we got to work. Democrats and Republicans working together at every level of government and with the private sector to get this critical bill passed. And oh, by the way, we knew from the very beginning, no state in the country would better benefit from the passage of the CHIPS and Science Act than Arizona. We were better prepared than any other state to take full advantage. Today, leading companies like Intel and TSMC are manufacturing some of the most cutting-edge microchips in the world right here, chips that power our defense systems and advanced technology. And oh, by the way, I can't wait to get started on Chip 2.0. Well, we got to get to work in Congress to keep the momentum going. But we knew that as we were crafting the CHIPS Act that we couldn't only focus on manufacturing and fabrication. We needed to invest in the entire semiconductor supply chain to be successful. Soups to nuts, from silicons to systems. That meant investing in workforce training so we can fill thousands of good paying jobs being created here for Arizonans. And on this, Governor Hobbs has been an incredible leader and a great partner, launching the Registered Apprenticeship Program and Maricopa Future 48 Workforce Accelerator in close partnership with the private sector. And I just want to say thank you, Governor Hobbs, for being such a leader on workforce development so we can lead on this most critical industry. It means investing in research and development so the United States can continue to lead the world in inventing the technologies of the future. Some of the most cutting edge work is being done right here in Tempe at Arizona State University. And it means that making sure the United States can access the critical minerals behind these technologies without being dependent on China. And it means investing in the kind of advanced packaging that Amcor specializes in. Soon, thanks to this investment, microchips manufactured in Arizona will be packaged right here in Arizona. This investment will make Americans safer. It will make our country and our supply chains more efficient and secure, and it will ensure that the future of innovation is in America and right here in Arizona. This is a great day for this country and the state of Arizona. Now, I want to welcome to the podium a guy who's been in it for a long time, who helped make this community ready for this critical moment. Chris Camacho, the leader from the Greater Phoenix Economic Council. Chris.
Well, Congressman Stanton and I got to work together for a lot of years when he was the mayor of Phoenix, and what an exciting day it is, I know, for me, for the region, for the state, to stand here in the city of Tempe, and the excitement out in Peoria, which, if you haven't been out to Vistancia, it's about to be forever changed. So just a few comments I wanted to make this morning, and I was kind of reflecting on this journey we've been on, and you're sitting here in a research park that really has anchored Arizona's innovation almost since our inception of our industrial era. I won't take you down that whole history lesson, but from the 1950s when Motorola was spinning out some of the first transistors here in the market, and it's amazing to me how many individuals that I've met with that have spawned from Motorola that are now with Freescale Microchip on to me. I could give you a list of 50 companies, and as they move throughout that supply chain or move throughout the sector, and land with different firms, it's still a small global network of people. And so it goes without saying, but the governor's comments and the congressman's comments are certainly indicative of what the Arizona spirit's about. It's about working together as a region with our state partners, our federal delegation. I can't understate the importance of what Secretary Raimondo has done to carry and the banner and wave the banner about the importance of chips, the national security implications, the supply chain on raw materials, as the congressman mentioned. And we were so fortunate, I think the governor talked about this, is there's very few states that are being rewarded for all of the hard work. And the president, as well as Congress' support of the CHIPS and Science Act was an absolutely critical ingredient for these foreign companies and domestic companies to have the clarity and really the cost containment opportunity to invest in America. And the byproduct of that policy is what we're going to see in Peoria with shovels breaking ground and a $2 billion investment. And it also goes without saying how we work as a region. We're sitting here in the city of Tempe. Mayor Wood's great leadership in this community. Mayor Beck couldn't be here today, but he is one of the most tenacious leaders that wants to see industrial activity occur in our market. And Jen and her team in the city of Peoria are ready from here on to make sure that Amcor has an incredible experience. So I want to thank Amcor as well, the leadership team. Kevin and I actually ran across each other where we were on our way to Korea and passing in the airport, not knowing we were going to coordinate schedules like we did. But it just amazes me to see all of the synergy that exists in this market, how we work together, day in and day out. And the congressman mentioned the governor's leadership working through budget after budget to make sure we have the necessary investments in infrastructure, necessary investments in workforce development to make sure we're building this future level of Team Arizona, and that's what's happening in our community. So I guess final comment I would make this morning, because I have had so many conversations with Senator Sinema and Senator Kelly, and we talked about, I'll give you a little inside scoop, years ago when we were working our way through CHIPS Act, and there were a lot of revisions going back and forth. I know the CHIPS office teammates are here today. And Senator Kelly was one that we were constantly on the phone with him and his staff trying to figure out not only how do we get the foundries to invest in America, but the end-to-end system. And we needed not only the focus on the raw materials as inputs, but the back-end packaging and testing was as critical as having the chip investments here. And so, today this is a monumental moment, 2 years after the passage, to celebrate this particular location. And I couldn't be more excited to be here as one small cog in this massive machine that you're seeing top down all the way into our community. So with that, thank you very much for the opportunity to speak today. And I'd like to invite Susan to say a few words as well. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Susan Kim, and I am the Executive Vice Chairman of Amcor Technology. It is an honor to be here today to celebrate such a momentous occasion. On behalf of my father, Executive Chairman James Jujin Kim, and the entire board of directors, I express our sincere gratitude to the officials of the United States federal government, the state of Arizona, and the city of Peoria, as well as the economic development professionals who join us here today. Last, but certainly not least, a special thank you to all Amcor Technology employees here today and around the globe who have helped bring us to this point and who are fully prepared to successfully construct and operate America's next cutting-edge outsourced assembly and test manufacturing facility. When my father immigrated from Korea to the United States in 1955, he was motivated by his desire to positively impact the sluggish Korean economy, which was struggling in the post-war era. He planned to study economics and return to Korea to take a bureaucratic position in which he could influence economic policy with hopes it would spark an economic recovery. But like so many things in life, his plan changed. 55 years ago, my grandfather, a savvy businessman and seasoned politician, called my father, who at the time was a professor of economics here in the States. He had an idea. He figured out a way to accomplish their goal of stimulating the Korean economy, and he planted the seed that started the semiconductor industry in Korea. Over half a century later, that seed has grown into a global enterprise. Today, Amcor Technology is the world's largest US headquartered OSAT. Amcor started in 1968 and pioneered outsourcing integrated circuit packaging and test services, and is now a strategic manufacturing partner for the world's leading semiconductor companies, foundries, and electronics manufacturers. With manufacturing, sales, and support offices located in key electronic regions in Asia, Europe, and the United States, Amcor's operations transcend borders. However, our manufacturing growth has been entirely outside the United States. During COVID, the average American, for the first time in their life, felt the impact of the global supply chain disruption caused by international restrictions and COVID shutdowns. Semiconductors, previously overlooked, became a household word. Since the passage of the CHIPS and Science Act in 2022, there is a new level of appreciation and understanding in the United States of the importance of our industry. I am confident that with the funding from the CHIPS and Science Act and with continued federal, state, and local support, this facility will not only be the first of its kind in the United States, but will also be a key contributor to establishing a robust and resilient semiconductor chain serving both the economic and national securities of the United States. Amcor's strategic focus on technology, geographic footprint, and growing markets, especially high-performance computing and artificial intelligence, the clear commitment of the United States government to create an onshore semiconductor industry, and the support of our home state of Arizona will prove to be a winning combination for creating the largest U.S. OSAT facility while creating 2,000 new jobs. This is a full circle moment. The seed my grandfather planted more than 50 years ago, which has been nurtured by my father, continues to thrive. It will now be sown in the land my father chose to make his home. Seeing this plan come to fruition over the next few years will honor this legacy and bring a critical element of a vibrant semiconductor supply chain to Arizona, and reiterate to our shareholders that Amcor is dedicated to continued strategic investment in our industry. Thank you. And now, I'd like to introduce Heel Rutten, our CEO.
Thank you, Susan. That was a great introduction of the history of Amcor. Well, good morning to everyone. My name is Giel Rutten. I'm the CEO and President of Amcor Technology. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to our headquarters. We are excited that you are able to join us here today on the crossroads of the US semiconductor industry right here in Arizona. let me start extending my gratitude to the Biden-Harris administration, the CHIPS office, Governor Katie Hobbs, Representative Greg Stanton, the City of Peoria, and other partners here present here today for their unwavering support both to EMCOR and to Arizona's fast evolving semiconductor ecosystem. A special acknowledgement to Susan Kim, representing the Kim family, who just chaired the foundation of EMCOR over 55 years ago as a pioneer to the outsourced semiconductor assembly and test industry. Over the past 5.5 decades, EMCOR has significantly scaled our business and financial profile, forming partnerships with the world's foremost semiconductor companies. With our long-standing partnerships with lead customers and our commitment to R&D and innovation, EMCOR established a technology leadership position in the industry, providing advanced packaging for critical markets such as high-performance computing, artificial intelligence, electrical vehicles, and 5G communication. As a next major milestone in EMCOR's history, we are proud to establish our first domestic advanced packaging and test facility in Peoria, Arizona, and to partner with the already present supply chain partners here in Arizona. In our announcement, there was an endorsement from key partners here with TSMC and our lead customer, Apple, both key players in the semiconductor ecosystem. This would not be possible without the CHIPS Act support and other federal, state, and local incentives. EMCOR US manufacturing base for advanced packaging is a critical building block for reshoring a semiconductor manufacturing supply chain to the US. By partnering with other manufacturing companies, we will be able to offer an end-to-end supply chain for manufacturing of semiconductors in Arizona and in the US. Besides supporting customers in secular growth industry like AI and automotive, this funding will enable us to invest in leading-edge technologies and create high-quality jobs that will drive economic growth and prosperity. I extend my gratitude to everyone who has played a role in making this milestone possible. To our dedicated employees, whose commitment is the foundation of our achievement. To our partners and stakeholders, whose trust and collaboration have been invaluable. And to the government and policymakers, whose vision and support have paved the way for this remarkable opportunity. Today we celebrate not just a preliminary memorandum of terms, but also a shared vision for an onshore resilient supply chain for advanced packaging supporting mission-critical semiconductors. Let us embrace this moment with enthusiasm and optimism as we embark on this exciting new chapter in EMCOR's journey. I would like to thank you, and I will now hand it back over to Jennifer for a wrap-up and final remarks. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please provide one more round of applause for all of our special speakers and guests who have joined us today. As we conclude our ceremony, I extend our deepest gratitude to all of our esteemed guests and speakers for your support, your insightful words, and your vision for the future. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. We look forward to seeing everyone again soon at our new facility in Peoria. Please help yourself to some refreshments while we take some formal photographs. Thank you, everybody, for joining us.